This is a show about facing fear, unlocking courage, and taking action.
Courage isn't necessarily a daunting thing.
It's going to give you more purpose. It's going to give you more drive.
It feels like making a courageous decision is going to get you closer to who you aspire to be.
It's knowledge plus faith plus action equals courage.
These big tech companies are spending billions of dollars to make you feel like your iPhone's obsolete after a year. And all that kind of has created this big problem in our world, which is e-waste. And there's a pretty cool company out there who's really focused on fixing that issue.
We're following the order from the thing, so you want me to go first?
But I have to launch into the show, Billy. You can't just jump in.
No, dude, I understand this.
No, but we're not taking this part out. This is it.
Oh,
this
perfect.
is the show.
This is the start.
The show has begun. We have begun. We've already begun. This is it.
Okay.
I feel like this is the perfect intro. Well, again, first of all, I feel like I'm in a sauna, and I'm sorry if anyone hears that and gets the bad visual, but it's like the three bros of the company episode of the Courage Brand Spotlight, all huddled up here. Although what's kind of cool here, as we try to bring in these Courage Brand Spotlights from time to time, is that each of us is nestled in a different part of the country. So we've got Billy Collins is back, and he's got the East Coast covered, although he's a little bit more in the South.
A little further south. South Kakalaka.
Right? And then we're joined in Texas by Sully Lawrence, first timer on the show. Sully, let's give some love to Sully because you got some big news here. So first of all, how are you? Can you share the news?
Yeah, I'm good. Excited to join the call, join the podcast. Big news in my world. I am going to business school this fall. I got into Northwestern Kellogg, so we're moving to Evanston, Illinois, with my fiance for the 2-year MBA program. Very exciting.
It's awesome. I know Billy wants to say the other place you got into, right, Billy?
No, I was going to say my favorite part of it is the fact that he gets to keep wearing purple because he's a TCU undergrad, Northwestern business school. That way you don't have to change the wardrobe. Stay strong.
I know.
It's pretty awesome.
It's great.
Well,
purple is my mom's favorite color, so she's pumped too.
There we go.
Great.
Yeah.
That's probably one of our 4 listeners right now. Hi, Mom. Let's give a big shout out to
my mom.
Moms all around.
Right. Another possible listener is someone from Camp Siegel. Let's give a shout out to Siegel because the three of us, we're all character counts guys. And I also want to give us a little cap tip. Sully, I love that you're on here because sometimes, I'm clearly the oldest. Billy likes to remind me that I'm the oldest of the 3.
Way older.
But the fact that we've got, what are you seeing from your lens? I'm excited to see what brand you brought to the table. Hopefully it's a little younger, skews a little younger. I know my brand's going to skew a little older. I'm just this is a little foreshadowing for where I'm going. But here we are, guys. It's been a wild quarter for me. And what stands between me and spring break is this Courage Brand Spotlight.
Oh.
And then the Bermans are off to Yosemite. The Griswolds are off to Yosemite. If I've lost you on that one, Google the Griswolds. But it's been a quarter. You guys know this. Been an honor of a dream of a project, helping Landon Donovan write his memoir. We were on the Today Show a couple weeks ago. Did a keynote in Vegas, first 700 plus live ACCA. Went very well. Got good feedback. And I share all this because it's just cool, how unique and how many applications of courage we see in the world. Sometimes it's courageous leadership. Sometimes it's courageous stories. Other times it's courage brands. That's really what this episode is all about. This is the 5th edition of Courage Brand Spotlight. The whole point is I'm going to pass the torch over to Billy. You first. You could share what you're seeing in the world, and then Sully will go to you, and then we'll all end. On the last Courage Brand Spotlight, if you missed it, we had Lisa Jacobs on the show with me. She looked at Ritual. Very cool brand. And probably not surprising. I went with the Olympic rings, very selfish choice. But after literally experiencing it, I was pretty impressed by, in this fragmented media world we're living in, how powerful those rings really are. All right, enough about the last episode. Sully, you and I are on hold. Billy,
Yeah.
the floor is yours.
All right. So, when we do a lot of our work with our organizations, we talk about the Domino campaign, which was huge in your book, Ryan. So, imagine my surprise when I'm watching the tournament and there's the Burger King ad. There's a new king, and it's you. So if you're not familiar, it is right out of the Domino's playbook. It really is. They talked about the fact that in the campaign that they transformed their organization, that fast food had gotten bland and they were the worst offenders as Burger King. So how can they transition? And it's about going back to putting you first. And what's interesting about it, as you look back at the history of Burger Kings, the have it your way idea is from 1974. So it's older than Ryan and I. It's that old, right? This idea of have it your way. And so when they have to, compete with a McDonald's, how does Burger King's never going to outspend them, right? They're never going to have the same number of locations. So they got to stand out in different ways. And this idea that has been core to them a long time ago of putting the customer first, the consumer first, as they walk in the door, we're here to make it for you, have it your way, do what you want. They've gone in and out of that idea over the last 52 years. And it's interesting to see them going back to this concept of firing the creepy king, right? That big mascot with the crown or whatever. They make a deal in the commercial that they fired that king because the king is really, it's about you. And I thought that was really interesting and sort of that hook. But as I looked into it some more, a couple years ago, they launched something that they called Reclaim the Flame, which was a $400 million project to improve the restaurants, get the kitchen tech where it needs to be, right? Make investments into the experience. Again, same way as what Domino's did, and recognizing the fact that, hey, we've lost our way a little bit. And I give them a ton of credit. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out, right? They have started to see some in-store performance is up. Their sales are growing. Their share prices improving a little bit. But this idea and recognition of mea culpa, I think, is really interesting. And so many leaders and so many brands are afraid to be transparent and say, hey, I made a mistake. And that's frankly part of the reason why it works so well at Domino's, where it became that filter and that idea of, hey, we need to change some things. Stop saying our pizza is amazing. Burger King said the same thing. Stop saying our stores are awesome. Stop saying that we're doing things right. Let's actually fix it, do it right. And then let speak real to our customers so that they give us a try again. Because ultimately you got to think that's what they want to do. Everybody knows what Burger King is. It's not lack of awareness. It's a matter of why would I go to Burger King? Now they're trying to bring that back by improving their menus, by improving their service. And again, just putting you as the king, have it your way. The new king is you. It's all that same idea. So just some cool stuff that they're doing. And it's good to see that it isn't just a creative idea, that they've put that investment in since the last 3 years to sort of build up to this moment and this reveal of a new campaign.
I mean, it sounds like it's working, right? And I think I read somewhere they were satisfaction out of QSRs. They dropped from the number 2 spot in 2020 all the way down to 12. And then I think they were 10th and now they're back up to 6th, right? So they're doing something right. And the other thing that's kind of interesting, although, by the way, guys, where have we seen this playbook before? Not just the Domino's story. I think a lot of companies are saying, yeah, let's put you back into the driver's seat.
Right.
I recall, Caesar's Entertainment. We do some work with Caesar's Palace. Right? Like a Caesar, you're the Caesar, you're at the center. It's not a new playbook, but if it's working, what I did love, although it's different than this, Billy, their president, Tom Curtis, went viral, right?
Yeah.
Coming after McDonald's a month ago.
Yeah.
Right? Put his phone number on social, and I think he's gotten 20,000 calls and text messages to date. talk about being accessible, right?
Well,
Less creepy than the king.
He did both things, right? So like he put his number out there so that he could, prove that the consumer was first, be there. And then when McDonald's had that weird video with the new sandwich that the CEO ate, and it was like super awkward, and people were like, "What's this guy doing? Isn't this a yummy? I'm having this for my lunch." It was so bizarre. And so then they showed the Tom Curtis, they showed the Burger King CEO tasting some of their products, and it just seemed so much more natural and relatable, and it was like such a contrast. I think Burger King is claiming that they weren't doing that intentionally, but you got to know that there is a little bit of a, we have to put this out now sort of thing.
Sully, what's your take?
Yeah, I like the kind of this getting back to the roots of quality. Like, I think consumers can be convinced of a lot of things through marketing, except for convinced of quality. When you touch and feel and taste something, that's when you know if it's good or not. So I love just kind of getting back to the basics of like, yeah, let's make this product, this experience actually of good quality.
Yeah.
Billy, what did you say? It was a flame. What was the thing? What was the line?
Reclaim the flame was the investment.
Yeah.
That's what they said internally. So again, it's this mix of external and internal. And so this ability to sort of, obviously flame broiled, key to what their equity is. So reclaiming the flame, that's how they cook it. So again, there's that whole operational tie-in there. And it's something where they went back to what made them special and made them different, and, invested over $400 million in infrastructure. So that's, again, that you can make a lot of choices with your resources, and they finally put their support behind making the experience better.
I know we got to move on to Sully's brand. It's so funny. I when I hear the Burger King, the king is creepy, then it makes me think it's not just back to quality, it's back to human. Like there's
Interesting.
by the way, someone goes home and takes off that mask.
Like,
It is like, that's me on TV. That was me. Right. Like now they've got Tom, the guy a literal face, right? The literal face is the president. It's a human. And, so I wonder if it's more of a math equation of like back to the flame plus back to humanity. We're not going to be hiding behind this mask anymore, right? Less creepy. Although the creative in me is like, well, let's see the Burger Queen. Can we see a Burger Queen? Right.
Yeah.
But here we are keeping it human. And the number I ran into, Billy, was that they ran, it was like 700 million that they've spent.
I think that
to
they've
revamp
committed.
the
That's what they're committed to, right? Spend over the next couple of years, right? Is another incremental 700 million, so that they can they can fix it.
All right, I like it. Way to stay human, Burger King. Welcome back. Sully, the floor is yours, my man.
You mentioned kind of having that younger person perspective. I think something as a proud Gen Zer that I struggle with is just the concept of consumerism. I feel like we live in this fast tech world where these big tech companies are spending billions of dollars to make you feel like your iPhone's obsolete after a year, or you see kind of the iterations of artificial intelligence from ChatGPT being a leader to Gemini taking the spotlight. Now it feels like we're on to Claude. It's like, what's next? What's new? And all that kind of has created this big problem in our world, which is e-waste, which is the fastest growing waste stream on the planet. And there's a pretty cool company out there who's really focused on fixing that issue. And the company is called Back Market. So Back Market is a curated marketplace for refurbished goods, and they are pretty much opposite to what your Apples and Microsofts and Googles of the world are out there trying to get you to do. It's similar to like a peer-to-peer site like Craigslist or eBay, but a little bit different. Whereas on eBay, I could go sell my current iPhone on there. Back Market goes at it a little bit differently. So they don't refurbish anything on their own, but they have like 1,700 plus professional refurbishers in their network. And they allow those 1,700 refurbishers to list products on their marketplace. And back market kind of serves as the quality police, making sure their users and consumers can actually trust the products that are being sold, right? So for an iPhone, for example, they make sure like the battery life health is at least 80% before they're able to sell the product on their marketplace. So I think it's just a really unique way to solve that problem of e-waste. And they're very aggressive with their marketing strategy, calling out specific companies, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's my company, Back Market.
How did you stumble into them, or where did you find out about them?
Yeah, so I saw this is probably a year ago, but I saw an Instagram post that they made that was like a split screen image showing the same picture twice taken on like an iPhone 3 and an iPhone 15 or 16, whatever was the new iPhone at the time. And I was shocked at how similar the quality was. And I feel like that's something Apple's always pushing is, oh, the camera is so much
For sure.
better. You need to get this new phone to take better pictures. And I was like, wait a second. If I could just buy an older phone with a replaced or refurbished battery, I'd be helping save the planet a little bit. I'd save my wallet as well because I'd be paying a couple $100 instead of a couple
Thousand.
over $1,000 for an iPhone. So yeah, I just stumbled on them from an Instagram
Cool.
post.
Very cool.
Any idea how they're doing?
Yeah, so I think for 25 they hit 5 billion in revenue, which is a pretty good sized company that most people have never heard of.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they're based in Europe. They operate in over 10 countries. I can't remember the exact number of countries that they're in. But they just did a big kind of anti-CES event at the same time as the
That's cool.
event
cool.
that's in Vegas. And they just invited all these leaders in the leaders in the environment and tech to come in and kind of speak to why we should focus on refurbishing goods rather than creating
new.
And they just at that event they pushed they're pushing for a new industry benchmark, which is called the 10-year smartphone. So they're trying to push tech companies to create smartphones that last for 10 years without a real need for refurbishing them. And if there is a need to refurbish them, they're trying to create a world where you or I could
be easier to do. Yeah.
It's an iPhone on our own or take it to a store and have it fixed versus having to send it in to Apple and, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not related. This is not directly related to back market, but Billy, remember when we had our offsite in Colorado and we met with Go Wakamoto? That's a real name, people. Go Wakamoto. Go came out of Nike, and I'll preface this by saying, and this is classic me, we'll call it waste and taste, right? Like it's waste and there's a whole category on waste and taste. Like Go's thing was we're wasting clothing that should be refurbished. His business is
Reused
called,
consignment. Yeah.
Yeah, wearloop.co. If you go to Wearloop, the company's actually called Loop Apparel. But to your point, Sully, nothing reminds me more of how my generation is looked at as wasteful, and we're messing up this place. And like, here comes a more conscious, thoughtful generation that's like, hey, I'm going to be around for a while. There's got to be a more thoughtful play. That said, taste still matters, right? Like if you're going to wear that, if you're going to go with that phone, taste still plays. And I actually think we're getting way above and beyond just the brands we're talking about. I actually think with AI, the one sort of saving grace on creators is taste. It's like, what does your taste look like? Do you have enough experience to create that taste? So I'm calling it waste and taste, but it'll be cool to watch and learn more about the success of companies like this. And I got to be careful because the brand I'm bringing forward, I have no data behind on like there's no success metrics yet. I'm actually like this. I feel like it's baseball season. It's just so you guys know, we're recording this on day one of baseball
Opening
season. So
day.
this is my I'm shooting my shot. I'm shooting my shot. And the way the brand I'm looking at, I'll start with another brand that I interviewed for Return on Courage. This is not the brand. This is the brand on the way to the brand. And it was Jack Williams, who was 47, a 47 CEO for Royal Caribbean. And when they got into the cruise ship business, only 8 to 10 million people were cruising. And they had data that like another 30 to 40 million were on the fence. And the big fear at Royal Caribbean when they were going to make this investment from a, like a 80,000 gross registered ton ship to the colossal was, oh no, are we making a mall on the water? Like this was their biggest fear.
Interesting.
Okay. Obviously, the cruise line industry today is a 9 billion. I think Royal Caribbean alone has 9 billion in revenue, 60,000
Crazy.
people working. Yeah. So although Royal Caribbean won't like the brand I'm using, it's interesting that at the time their big courageous move was to go bigger. And now here we have the Four Seasons moving into luxury yachting. Are just launching Four Seasons 1. It's the first ever, hotel at sea, ultra luxury cruising. It's taking that private yacht feel, but adding hospitality to it. It was supposed to launch this month. Delayed a little bit, but I've got friends at Four Seasons. We've done stuff with Four Seasons. They are so excited about what's possible. The rumors on why delayed was more about location, where they were looking at the Caribbean and they're pivoting strategically to Europe. But extremely small boats, extremely exclusive, and yet for having these small yachts, the rooms itself are residential style suites. 95 suites, 200 guests, total service feel. And again,
Cool.
this is why I'm said it's not for, the Cousin Eddies, if I'm going to stick with the Griswold reference.
Yeah.
It's probably for my parents, right? And it's you've got time,
The
you've got
boomers.
money, and the big differentiator I should have said on Four Seasons 1, there's only one yacht that they're launching with, but it's food. Like they see food as a core differentiator. I believe there's 11 restaurants, all different high concept restaurants that they're bringing in. They're going to have rotating chefs. And so, again, it hasn't launched yet, but I'm like, oh, let's
See what
watch
this does.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see what this does. I'm so curious. I think it's a courage brand. I mean, maybe there's something to it. Billy, you've been along the ride for a while. Like, does it constitute as a courage brand if they haven't even taken action yet, but they're about to?
I mean, I think they're on their path, right? They're on their way. I think the reality of understanding a differentiated experience, there are I'm sure, other luxury cruise lines, but taking that brand of Four Seasons and what it stands for, and then, like you said, if they're focused on part of that differentiation is service, part of that differentiation is an elevated food option, like multiple of them, it definitely feels like they understand what they're going to do. Because, I have not been on a cruise. My understanding on most people who have been on cruises, one of the appeals is the food and the drink and the ability to do that. So if they are following the category, but doing it in a way that only Four Seasons can, I think there's clearly some courage behind that move in an industry that, travel is still, I would say, is still back, but a probably pretty disruptive type of industry, and volatile industry. It's definitely a move that has to be made with some conviction.
Yeah, my guess is for all of us living in this volatility, if you're thinking about Four Seasons 1, you're probably
Fair.
in a different.
Yes. I meant more.
Right.
I meant more corporately, like from a business standpoint, to make that investment. Is there enough volume of people who can fit? But I guess if you only have 200, if you only need 200 people,
Right. Well,
manageable.
that's the other thing that's interesting. I mean, one, I'm sure if they would barge into our Courage Brand
Podcast.
Spotlight, they would say, we're not a cruise, we're a private yacht, right? They're like, we're not a
Right.
cruise ship, right?
Yeah.
And then two,
We're
the
sea
pricing
travel.
models are
We're luxury sea travel.
we could do this all day, right? Like it's so much like we're different, right? We're different. Their model on pricing is not per person, it's per suite. So like you want to bring 14 people. I mean, like, again, they're big suites. That's the price. The pricing is on suite versus
Right.
a person. And the indicator of success might be they're already well on their way on Four Seasons 2. So expansion is in development. They're like they see something here clearly,
Yeah.
and they're making multiple yacht lines.
Very cool.
So they lost
All right.
out on Mike White and White Lotus, and they pivot into cruise lines. I love it.
There you go.
Yeah, I wonder if Mike White actually was like, well, let's do this on Four Seasons 1. And I'm sure Four Seasons was like, no, like the last thing we need is to have a White Lotus episode
Right.
to launch this brand, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they already had
now.
all the craziness on the yacht in season 2, so I don't think they want to repeat that.
All right, guys, good stuff. I like it. We covered a lot of ground. We covered the Burger King. We covered back market, and then in 30 years we can all go try Four Seasons 4 and take a little stroll around the world. But
That's the company retreat.
hello, Sully. Hello. Don't you have to go to business school, Sully? When you come back from business school, we can talk about that. All right. Appreciate you guys. Good stuff. Thanks for joining us, folks. What's that one thing you have to do? There's probably one place right now where you're thinking about taking action and you just aren't pulling the trigger. Write it out. Write it out. Hey, email us. Let us know what it is. It's like sometimes it's not about us helping you through it. It's just state it and create it. If there's some place you feel you want to be more brave or you want to take a cut, almost every single time I've taken action on something, even if I haven't perfectly landed it, there's been more knowledge that I've gained, which gives me more faith to go after it again and to iterate. So stay courageous out there. If you're a courage brand, let us know about you. Billy, Sully, good stuff, guys.
Good stuff.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Courageous Podcast. If you enjoy the show, don't forget to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts so more people can find us. See you again next week.